And we can't forget the French who have joie de vivre, and hopefully I said that right too. It's the celebrating of joy, living through food, art, culture, valuing quality of life and leisure time, embracing sensual pleasures and aesthetic experiences. We don't have anything like that in North America that comes to mind for me. So we have the words pleasure and enjoyment, but it's not a cultural norm for us. At least not in my life, it wasn't. And in the people that I know, it's not a really big focus. Wouldn't it be great if it was? So pleasure often refers to sort of that immediate sensory gratification, while enjoyment tends to involve deeper positive engagement and meaning. So both contribute to our sense of well-being and happiness. And when they're connected, it's really awesome. So sensory gratification is an important point because it's a feeling that we have that relates to our five senses. Hello, everyone. You are listening to Separation to Oneness, and I welcome you. I'm Niki Hughes, and we will delve into the profound subjects of life, love, and spirituality. We are going to investigate and reveal how to live from that limitless reservoir of happiness, care, and resilience. And then once there, how we can allow ourselves to move into the space of bliss, the connection to everything. And that's what I call oneness. And so to find out more about my work, please visit my website. I am at elementalbalance.ca. I really hope you enjoy this episode, and if you feel it's valuable, I ask that you would kindly share it with someone who's important to you. If I told you that there was a magic word, a magic focus that would change everything in your life, would you believe me? Something that's so simple that it would help you just shift everything, and you would come unstuck. You would manifest your desires. And you would shift yourself into magic, into a magical way of living. Now, it's not gratitude, but it's super, super close to that. And it kicks you up into a higher frequency where those amazing things can happen. So, hello and welcome. So, on today's podcast, we're going to talk about pleasure, the pleasure principle, and enjoyment as a way of elevating your life, your outlook, shifting your physical state, and as a manifesting tool to bring in amazing things. Truly, feels to me like it's the missing piece of manifestation. And I'm going to explain why and how, and I'm going to give you a secret weapon. So stay with me. We're going to talk about 3 ways that you get held back from using this, and how to move past it, and how to allow enjoyment and pleasure into your life. So thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching me on YouTube, or even on Spotify or your podcast station. And if you find this podcast to be interesting and useful, just please share it with someone that you love. Thank you. I'm really grateful that you're here. So I'm going to talk today about the pleasure principle, and that's a really hard thing to say. So pleasure and enjoyment. So I may just flip into enjoyment, although I want to define the two because they are different, although they are connected. So pleasure and enjoyment are positive emotional experiences that bring satisfaction or delight. So when was the last time that you were delighted with something, like truly delighted from the inside out? When was the last time that you took the time to feel something pleasurable? Now, that's not something that we typically do very often in our North American culture, but I will tell you that outside of North America, there are many other countries that have this level of pleasure and enjoyment as a cultural focus. So the Mediterranean cultures, Italians, Greeks, they have dolce far niente, and I hope I said that right. It's the sweetness of doing nothing, prioritizing long, leisurely meals with family and friends, having a cup of coffee with a friend, heading to the beach to look at the action of the waves, or sitting idly on a park bench watching people go by. The Danish have hygge, a concept that focuses on coziness, comfort, contentment. Embracing the simple pleasures like warm drinks, candles, comfortable surroundings, intimate gatherings, and creating a warm atmosphere, right? And we can't forget the French who have joie de vivre, and hopefully I said that right too. It's the celebrating of joy, living through food, art, culture, valuing quality of life and leisure time, embracing sensual pleasures and aesthetic experiences. We don't have anything like that in North America that comes to mind for me. So we have the words pleasure and enjoyment, but it's not a cultural norm for us. At least not in my life, it wasn't. And in the people that I know, it's not a really big focus. Wouldn't it be great if it was? So pleasure often refers to sort of that immediate sensory gratification, while enjoyment tends to involve deeper positive engagement and meaning. So both contribute to our sense of well-being and happiness. And when they're connected, it's really awesome. So sensory gratification is an important point because it's a feeling that we have that relates to our five senses. So it could be through taste, the enjoyment of flavors like savoring a delicious meal or a fine wine. Touch. So it could be a physical sensation like a gentle massage or the feel of a soft fabric on your skin. I've got a silk scarf on, it feels really lovely. Sight, so visual pleasure. So from viewing beautiful art, landscapes, attractive people. I know for me, seeing a beautiful sunrise, I've got like a million pictures of sunrises on my phone because I just find them all to be so beautiful. And then there's sound, auditory enjoyment from music, nature sounds, or a loved one's voice. There's smell, the olfactory pleasure from fragrances or fresh flowers or baked goods, and those can take us right back to wonderful positive memories. So pleasure, the sensory gratification, is in the body. It's a body experience. So enjoyment is the moment and the meaning that we place on the feeling, that deeper connection to the pleasure and what it means to us, to our values and to our sense of self and to our expansion. And that's what we're all here for, expansion. And we're going to talk about that. So I do have to say that sensory gratification can be a really powerful motivator in human behavior. It can drive us to seek out pleasurable experiences. It can be very positive and very healthy, or it can be negative and unhealthy, depending on how that sensory pleasure is being used. So without the deeper engagement or meaning or balance, especially the balance, that drive can lead to bigger issues like addiction or emptiness and depression, seeking to fill, right? So it's important to ensure that there's a really healthy balance between seeking pleasure and maintaining responsibility. So I'm not advocating for either, but for that healthy balance to improve your overall well-being. So when sensory gratification, pleasure, is sought out in a healthy and balanced way, which we're going to talk about, it creates positive emotional and physical state in your body and mind. And that's what we're covering here today. Okay, so let's talk about how this alters your brain chemistry and your overall well-being. Now, here's the caveat, okay? I am not a brain or a chemistry expert. I have not done research in this area. I am not a scientist, but I am interested in positive psychology and the effects of positive emotional states or positive mindset. And there are some well-known studies, if you like the science behind it, there's some well-known studies that show the neurochemistry of positive emotions that you can look up. So check out Dr. Loretta Graziano Bruning and her book, Habits of a Happy Brain. Retrain your brain to boost your serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphin levels. And positive psychology researcher Barbara Fredrickson and her broaden and build theory of positive emotions that shows that experiencing positive emotions more frequently leads to greater well-being and life satisfaction. So the more you access enjoyment, pleasure, and gratitude, for that matter, the more you're training your brain to be on a better station, a better frequency. We're going to talk about frequency in just a sec. So, but I want to finish off on the positive effects, because if you understand the positive effects that are happening in your body and why it feels good, you'll see how important it is to access pleasure and access those positive states, positive mindset, and allow that positive physical state in your body. So some of the benefits of being in that positive emotional state, even for a short time, that can be achieved through the focus on enjoyment and pleasure. Number one, neuroplasticity. Pardon me. So positive thinking can enhance your neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form new neural connections. The increased plasticity can lead to improved cognitive function, so your ability to think and reason and move about in the world, and your ability to adapt to situations, so your adaptability. Number two, neurotransmitter balance. So we're getting kind of really technical here. So serotonin is increased for mood regulation and feelings of well-being. Dopamine is released, reinforcing positive behaviors and enhancing motivation. And oxytocin is released when there's positive social interactions. And those stimulate oxytocin production, promoting bonding and trust. Okay, so it gets us closer. The third area is stress reduction. So cortisol regulation. Cortisol is the stress hormone that rages through our bodies when we are stressed out. So it regulates cortisol levels and it reduces the harmful effects of chronic stress on the brain. And amygdala activity. So it decreases activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, leading to reduced anxiety and stress responses. Now, we talked a minute about cognitive function, a minute ago about cognitive function, and it increases, positive moods are associated with better memory formation and recall, right? So you're actually getting yourself into a state of better memory. And also enhanced problem solving. So it can broaden your attention and improve creative problem solving abilities. Now, there's also brain structure changes that happen when you move into a positive mindset, when you move into that positive emotional state. In the prefrontal cortex, regular positive thinking or regular access of positive mental states can strengthen that prefrontal cortex, improves executive functions like planning and decision making. The hippocampus, positive experiences promote hippocampal growth, enhancing memory and learning capabilities. And immune system support, so it boosts the production of immune boosting chemicals, potentially improving your overall health. It can change pain perception. It can help you emotionally regulate, strengthening connections between that prefrontal cortex and the limbic system, that fear center. And as well, it may help preserve telomeres, the protective caps on your chromosomes, potentially slowing down your cellular aging. Doesn't that sound great? Don't we all want to stay youthful? So positive thinking or putting yourself into a positive mental state affects you physically and affects the structures and the chemical reactions in your brain. So with all of that positive impact on the brain and body, you can easily see what a negative mindset is doing to the brain and body. Not good. Creates all kinds of breakdowns and issues in the body and the brain. So that's a little bit about what happens physiologically when you access pleasure and enjoyment. But then there's sort of the energetic access, the energetic and frequency side of it as well, because there's a whole bunch of systems that are kicking off when you get into that wonderful space of being in a pleasure or in an enjoyment moment. So the amazing thing is when you focus on pleasure and enjoyment or both, right? Because often they go together, you're actually pulling yourself into the beautiful present moment because it's happening in your body and that your body is grounding you into the moment. Anything that you feel in your body is pulling you into the present moment, which is where all of the beautiful things happen, right? So you're connecting to your body as well. So you're creating a positive body connection and you're feeling the positive sensory feelings and you let go of lower frequency vibration and you elevate your frequency. And a heightened frequency feels good. It's that high vibe feeling, where everything's going your way, everything's awesome. Even more than that, energetically, when you're in a higher frequency, your magnetics change. So we are all magnetic beings. We are built on magnetics. And when your magnetic shift into that positive pole and your energy starts to emit at that higher frequency, you then magnetize or attract even more high frequency experiences to you. So there's no downside. There's absolutely no downside. A little bit more on that, though. So the way the universe works is under the law of increase. So anything that you focus on with emotion increases, which is why it's so important to have a positive mindset. It means that your emotional state is key to how you expand and what you bring into your life, and then the quality of life that you're living. So, in addition to that, all emotions have a frequency. So, check out Esther Hicks of Abraham Hicks. She's an American inspirational speaker, channeler, author, teacher of the law of attraction. I've actually been and seen her in person as she channels her guides to talk about the law of attraction. And she's awesome. She's such a high vibe being. It's great. And she created a scale of emotions and feelings and rated them from highest to lowest vibration. And of course, your aim is to be in the number one spot, to lift yourself up to the number one spot so that you can be sitting in a place of joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. Those are the ones that are at the very top, pardon me, that will bring you to the very top of the scale. Now, appreciation is where enjoyment and pleasure live. So does gratitude. Gratitude lives there too. When you're appreciating something, if you're appreciating it in the moment, you're enjoying it. You're feeling pleasure with it. If you're appreciating something that you've already experienced, then that's gratitude for what's happened, right? So this is a really fast way to move you up the scale. It goes super quick, right? So just think about this for a minute. Just take a breath here and think about it for a minute. When you are with someone who is depressed or angry, and we've all had this experience, you go into the grocery store and maybe the person at the cash register is really crabby, or maybe there's a customer in the lineup who's just freaking out about something. And maybe it's you. I hope not. I hope it's not you. Anyways, you can feel the low vibration kind of oozing off them, and it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. It doesn't line up with your frequency. So you can also feel that high vibration frequency of someone who's in love, who's compassionate, who's living a very high vibe life, or perhaps they're just filled with gratitude for life, every little thing in life. So that you can feel the difference, right? And so when you focus on the feeling and then you add the law of increase to it, you're increasing either a negative feeling or a positive feeling. So what you focus on increases. So if you are feeling unhappy, feeling angry, and you're focused on that, you're actually increasing it. If you are in enjoyment and pleasure and you're feeling that positive state, that sensory gratification in your body, you're actually expanding that, and you'll be bringing more good stuff to you. So the game here on this planet is to rise. Right? It's so being in high frequency emotions rather than the low ones, that lifts you. And we're all meant, I tell a lot of people, life is supposed to feel good. We're meant to feel happy and good about our lives, but we've got so much going on that pulls us down into this lower level frequencies. We can get stuck there, right? We are meant to rise and feel the goodness of the universe, right? So when you allow yourself to rise, more comes to you. It's simple magnetics. You draw in people, resources. That includes money, everybody. That includes money and experiences at the same frequency that you are vibing at. So don't you want that to be as high as you can so you can manifest really high vibration things, all of those goodies that you've been dreaming of? So your secret weapon for shifting your life and manifesting what you want is enjoyment and pleasure. It's a very fast way. So enjoyment is the number one thing that causes you to expand. Ah, awesome. I'm going to say it again. It's the number one thing that causes you to expand. It is positive appreciation, and it will open you up and make your life surprisingly smoother. It puts you in the high vibe flow of happiness, and it plugs you into the universal energy field, which is the field of potentiality. Anything is possible when you're plugged into there, and then you draw what you're focused on that matches your vibration. That's where all the good stuff comes from. So it is the secret to manifesting, in my humble opinion. It's the secret to manifesting anything. So you must get yourself to the high vibration of what you want to create what you want to create in your life. And the easiest way to do that is through enjoyment. It's the missing piece. We kind of forget that we have to get ourselves to this lovely, lovely place in order to pull stuff in. So if you failed at manifesting in law of attraction, and I've failed miserably at it many, many times, and I just keep coming back because I understand magnetics and vibration. So it's easy to get knocked out of that law of attraction stuff. But really, it's because you aren't in the high vibe needed to connect you to that field and bring in that thing that you desire. You have to match your frequency. So we do affirmations, we pray, we beg, and still the money or the mate or the trip you want doesn't show up, right? And that's because when you do all those things, you're asking the universe from a place of lack. You're in a low vibe when you're asking. It's that place of lack. I don't have it yet, and that's really where your focus is. I don't have it, and I want it, but I don't have it. That is a place of lack, and that's not an energetic match. So connecting to enjoyment and pleasure as a regular practice in your life, so a regular practice in your life, doing it regularly, puts you in a higher vibrational space where amazing things can start to be brought in. So I've been playing with this quite a bit for the last few weeks, just for a few weeks thing. I got to really focus on this because I want to understand it more. So I've been following Pam Grout's book, Thank and Grow Rich. And one of her tools in there is to, tell yourself something wonderful is going to happen every day, to put yourself into that space and invite the universe to bring you a surprise based on your frequency, right? And then focus on your blessings. So every day when you get up, you focus on 3 blessings that you had the day before, 3 amazing things that happened to you. And they don't have to be big. They can be super small, like I saw a bird flying in the sky. That was an amazing moment with the clouds behind it. I got to sit down for 5 minutes and enjoy my cup of coffee. So I've been doing that and just being thankful for everything to the point where it's a bit much, but I'm doing it, right? And let me tell you what happened. So I put out to the universe that I'd like to do more traveling because travel is fun. That's adventure. And that's kind of what lights me up, is having adventure. And so I'm out walking in this dumping rain with my 2 dogs. And one of my dear friends called me and offered me a trip, a cruise. Somebody that she loves and was supposed to go with her isn't able to go now. So she's offered for me to come with her on this cruise next year um, at a discount. So it's a discounted trip. And I just went, yes, say yes. I put it out there. I didn't really even hesitate, because it's like, I've really felt that this was a universal gift coming in for me. And I'm not saying no. So I'm saying yes. And whatever it is that I need to make it happen is going to show up, because I am grateful. So these kinds of things start happening when you put yourself into that higher vibration of focusing on what you love, focusing on enjoyment. And then all of a sudden, you're not focused specifically on the one thing. You've just kind of thrown it out there through magnetics, boom, in it comes. And so it can happen to you. It's happening to me. It's awesome. So I've been playing with this. I'm going to keep going because it feels good and it's fun. Life is a bit of a game. So you got to kind of enjoy the game, and I'm enjoying the game. So I hope you can enjoy the game too. So there really is 3 reasons that I've come up with, and 3 responses or ways to move beyond limiting reasons that you can't, won't, don't focus on your own enjoyment and pleasure. Okay. So the first one is I have no time. So you're actually running from thing to thing to thing. You're disconnected from the energy of life. When you're doing that, you are so disconnected from life because life happens in the moment. Okay, the second one is I feel guilt and shame, and that tells me I don't deserve good feelings. I don't deserve to feel good. So these are limiting beliefs at play here that hold you away from your own positive expansion. You are here to expand your energy through the law of increase and to experience all these amazing things, but something is shutting you down and holding you small. Okay, so number three, I don't know what I enjoy. I don't know what I enjoy. Either I never learned how to embrace enjoyment and pleasure, or it's been so freaking long since I have actually put my attention on what I like. I don't even know what I like. I was there. That one was me. Okay, so I'm going to go through these and give you some antidotes to them, okay? Some things you can do. So number one, I have no time. So if you don't have time to savor a cup of coffee for 1 minute or 2 minutes, or to stand out in nature for maybe 3 minutes and just breathe and notice what's around you, or to call someone you love for a quick chat, just to check in to say, hello, I love you, or to just sit and chat, then we need to have a bigger conversation. If your life is so full of that, I call it the hamster wheel stuff. If your life is so full of that hamster wheel, go, 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 and you have no time to just stop and smell the roses, as they say, you gotta give your head a shake here and make some changes. Okay. So because when you are running nonstop and you're always focused outward, because that's what's happening, you are pulling yourself out of yourself and focusing on everything else around you, um, or the next thing, moving to the next thing, trying to stay ahead of life. There's no connection to your actual life happening. And that because that's happening right here in the moment. You are missing it all. You might even be missing opportunities that the universe is trying to get you to see, like the phone call I got with the cruise. I answered the phone and I said, yes, of course I'm going to go. So you can practice a bit of mindfulness to get you back into this moment. Try some 4, 7, 8 breaths. So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8 to get you back to calm. Do a few of those every day. Do a 5-minute meditation. Just give yourself 5 minutes. It's not you if you've got to be able to find 5 minutes for yourself. Even if you add it to your bathroom break, give yourself an extra minute or two in the bathroom. You've got to slow down. Okay, this is no way to live a life. So focus on self-care. We all need self-care. So if you are someone, you will be someone who needs to do some micro focus on enjoyment and pleasure multiple times in a day as a way of getting back into your body and back into your life, because your life is passing you by. All right. We weren't born separating ourselves from pleasure and enjoyment. We weren't born to be separate from our focus of wanting to enjoy things, experiences in our life. Just watch any toddler who is learning and expanding, and you will see pleasure in action. And yeah, sometimes there's not a lot of regulation of emotion. So sometimes there's a lot of tears with the pleasure and the enjoyment, but they're in the moment enjoying what they're doing. We got to get back to that. When did we actually stop accessing our own enjoyment? Well, I know when I stopped, when I got so busy that all I could do was just keep that hamster wheel of life going. I was trying so hard to stay ahead of life so that I didn't feel like I would get sucked under because I had way too much going on. And yeah, it was had some difficult moments with that. So with that, the first when you're in that mode, at least for me, when I was in that mode, the first thing out the window are the pleasurables, right? It's as though the things that bring pleasure or taking time for things we enjoy, there's somehow they're luxuries that get pushed to the bottom of the pile or thrown right off the roof or balcony, right? There's no time for that. Okay, and that may be because of negative beliefs, thoughts and feelings around the word, or the action of pleasure and enjoyment. So just take a second with me now and check out what the word pleasure and enjoyment brings up for you. Is it indulgence, selfishness, laziness? Those were some of the things that came up for me. Like you're not allowed to indulge yourself. You're not allowed to um, be selfish. It's not actual selfish. Looking after yourself is not selfishness. It's self-focus, which is different. And it's not laziness. If I'm not working all the time, it doesn't mean I'm lazy. It means that I am taking care of myself, right? So, were you allowed to enjoy things? So, where was the point in your life where you stopped or you were told it's not okay to enjoy things? And were you allowed to seek pleasure in a nice, balanced, healthy way, just to add that in, and to, yes, to indulge yourself in them, in the things that were healthy? Often, when we are set back from that and told we can't, we find other ways to do it. And it might be through food, like overeating or eating too many sweets or alcohol, right? Sugar. This I've heard the sort of the energetics around sugar issues being feeling like the underlying theme is my life isn't sweet enough. So I'm now putting all the sweets in to sweeten up my life. So stop and look at how you're living your life, right? So there's probably some limiting beliefs in there about allowing yourself to access enjoyment and pleasure. I had to do some work on that, and maybe you do too, right? And that's okay because there's a lot of ways to deal with it. So get mindful, slow down, make self-care a priority, and get focused on what you enjoy, right? So, number two, I feel guilt and shame that tells me that I don't deserve good feelings. I don't deserve to enjoy things, right? This is kind of the hardest one to address because it is in your programming and it will require some work on your part. So, if you're struggling with guilt, shame, and you believe that you don't deserve good feelings, I'm just going to ask you to check out my book. It's right here, Radical Self-Love, Live a Vibrant Life Beyond Fear and Limitation. And in that book, I give you insight and tools to let go of the fear and the emotional blocks and how to change the limiting beliefs that are holding you out of your own life and away from loving yourself. So there's a lot of really good tools in there. Now, if you would rather listen to another podcast, if you go back to my podcast last month on programming and perspectives, Aaron Birch and I talk about limiting beliefs and give you some tips on how to deal with those things. So a couple of really good resources there for you. So when you are in this place of being blocked and telling yourself, I don't deserve it, I don't deserve it, you are creating separateness from yourself and you are creating separateness from your life by holding on to that guilt and shame and the limiting beliefs. So just remember that our beliefs are messages that are given to us by others. We take it in, we choose to accept that messaging, and it becomes our programming. And that's usually created all before the age of 7. So this feeling, this belief that you have that I don't deserve good things or I don't deserve to enjoy life, I don't deserve enjoyment or pleasure, it's that was created by a 7-year-old or someone younger than a 7-year-old. So it's time to update some of those things, right? So check it out. In my book, there's a whole chapter on your limitations, okay? Letting go of limitations, which are the limiting beliefs, the negative programs, and just letting these go once and for all. So if you're someone who's here, I want you to know that you are not broken. And you do deserve all this world has to offer. You deserve it. And just by being here in this body, that means that you are special. You are meant to be here and you are meant to be expanding in positive ways, just as we all are. Okay, so number 3, I don't know what I enjoy. I never learned how to, or it's been so freaking long since I have enjoyed anything or really thought about it. I don't have a clue. So this one is a really common problem, especially with women. Our world has sped up so much and everyone is chasing more, 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 more. And through trying to keep up and stay ahead of what's coming next. So when you're overcommitted, when you're overworked, or when you're unsupported, who has the energy to experiment with enjoyment? You're just trying to survive, right? So you've got yourself perhaps in survival mode. So here's a few ways that you can start to bring enjoyment back into your life and elevate yourself at the same time. So the first one is to make a list of all the things that you enjoy, no matter how small. And they may be small. It may be, oh, that having that special cup of coffee on a Sunday, that's my thing. Or, whatever that is. We all have something that we enjoy, putting on a beautiful dress or a beautiful article of clothing or dancing in the kitchen, those things. I'm giving you guys all my secrets here. So if you can, think back to your childhood, if you need to look for the seeds of pleasure and enjoyment. So start there. What did you love to do as a child? What was exciting for you? What did you spend a lot of time doing? Were you creating? Were you drawing? Were you being out in nature? So you're going to have some seeds from your childhood there. So check it out. Number two, make enjoyment a priority when you are doing your regular activities, even if it's for a short time. So, how the heck do you do this? Because the things I do aren't very enjoyable. So, here's a good example. I'm doing the dishes again. Turn on some music, dance between rinses, get on a fun phone call. If you need to, wear an evening dress. Do something that is fun, that is uplifting, that is enjoyable. Do whatever it takes to make your regular activities enjoyable. Okay. So when you then identify something that you enjoy, you can take that now and just ramp it up a little bit. So if you enjoy having a bath, like if that's a thing you like to do to just get away from everybody and just have that moment to yourself, make it a bubble bath, light a candle, have a glass of wine, start adding things that elevate your enjoyment to those wonderful things. So this is going to be your homework, people, to go out and find out, what do I enjoy, and then start ramping it up. So it's important to note here that experiences are what make us happy, not things. Okay? Things actually become boring. They lose their enjoyment. They're sort of flash in the pan things. You buy a new sweater and you love wearing it, and then within a week it's just become normal. And then you got to go to the next thing, and then got to buy another one or another one or another one, or however that works, right? So things can become a bit of a trap. So things become boring and they lose their enjoyment, and they can lose it pretty quickly. So we are meant to increase, we are meant to expand. And this is best through activity, by doing something. Without activity, boredom sets in. And before you know it, you may be in a state of despair. Okay. So if you're feeling bored or a little despairy, get an experience going, even if it's a small one. Take a walk out in nature and challenge yourself to find three beautiful things. So happiness comes from being, which implies being with others or doing things that enhances your life. Okay. Now, there's another reason. That all sounds really good, right? But there's another reason why this is super important. The pleasure principle, the enjoyment principle, why it's super important. Your unconscious mind is always listening to you and your responses to life. Now, as a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, I work with the unconscious mind. I coach the unconscious mind, and I know that it's always listening and it's always responding to whatever you're putting into your life. Whatever you're doing, it's taking it all in. And then through your awareness, that unconscious mind is going to bring you more of what you focus on. Magnetics again. So note if you notice the crappy service everywhere you go, guess what? You're going to keep getting crappy service. You're going to keep seeing it. So stop focusing on that. Pleasure and enjoyment gives your unconscious mind an amazing, high vibration, positive target. We have to give our unconscious mind targets of what we want. We have to be working together. So when you feel pleasure and you enjoy what you're doing, no matter how small, and in fact, you can get incredible enjoyment out of doing something small and something not time consuming too. The unconscious mind brings you more of what you enjoy and more of what you find pleasurable. So now all of a sudden you're working together. And another piece of this pleasure and enjoyment principle for manifesting an amazing life, and your secret weapon, I'm going to reveal the secret weapon now, is the concept of dreaming. Yeah, dream. I don't mean dreaming when you're asleep. I mean, dreaming about the things that you love and that you want in your life that would bring you pleasure and enjoyment. So when you can experience pleasure in the moment and enjoy what you're doing, you change your frequency to a higher vibration. So our dreams for ourselves include or should include pleasurable and enjoyable things. When we're dreaming, we're thinking about things that would feel good, right? I don't really know of anyone that dreams for bad things for themselves. And I really hope there isn't anybody like that out there. We need to give them a big shift. So your dreams for yourself are your target. And when you dream, you are automatically in a state of pleasure and enjoyment. Okay. So spend time every single day in the activity of dreaming about what you want in your life because it's pleasurable and because it's enjoyable. So imagine your life the way you want it. Your family, your friends, really feel it. Get appreciative for these dreams and enjoy the process. Tell yourself, my dreams will come true. Imagine your life already unfolding in front of you day by day in that wonderful, enjoyable, pleasurable way. Take yourself step by step into your dreams. Stay open, be receptive, and be ready for surprises. Remember my cruise surprise, and for opportunities to present themselves that take you closer to your dreams. And then dream bigger. Don't be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to dream big. Really put it out there. We did that when we were kids, and then we got it kind of stopped. It's time to get back to that. Dream big, and you will bring in amazing things for yourself. And do this every single day. So I've got a little exercise for you here to help you with the dreaming. So I want you to just take a minute, either now or after this podcast, and just write down one dream you have. Maybe it's a secret dream. Maybe it's something that's been percolating inside of you that you don't actually speak to anyone about because it's like, oh, I can't do that. Or you discount it in some way, but it's in there. There's a little spark in there. So what is that secret dream that you have? And what small steps can you take to move yourself towards this dream that would be enjoyable and pleasurable? And then play the game of noticing opportunities over the next week or so to open your awareness to that dream starting to come in. I can't stress this enough. Dreaming is your ticket to an amazing, abundant life because dreaming is about pleasure and enjoyment. It puts us in that beautiful, positive state, positive emotional state that has so many positive physical benefits to you, right? So spend time every day dreaming about what you want. Spend time every day focusing on enjoyment and enjoying the regular things that you do in your day. You don't need to add anything new. What do I enjoy about doing the laundry? I don't know. Maybe it's folding is fun or listening to the music I listen to or whatever that is. You will find your own reasons and own ways to make it enjoyable. Awesome. So I want to thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you uncovered something amazing about bringing pleasure and enjoyment to the front of your life and understanding how it can create really good health, overall well-being, and it can create a magical life. So we covered enjoyment and pleasure and dreaming in these ways. So how it elevates your life and opens you up to more, how it shifts your physical and emotional state and the benefits that has to your brain, body, and your well-being. It's the secret to manifesting what you desire because if you do it every single day, you'll put yourself in a much higher vibration every moment, and then the good stuff starts to flow in. It's not a one-time, I want this, I'm going to focus on that, and then it doesn't come in, right? You got to lift everything to get that match going. And I talked also about 3 ways that you hold yourself back and how to get beyond them, and that bonus secret weapon of dreaming. Get that unconscious mind a target. So if you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with someone you care about. If you're listening to this podcast on my YouTube channel, remember to like and subscribe so that you're notified of new podcasts and additional empowering video content that I am publishing there. More to come soon. How to reach me. So If you want to work on your personal journey to self-love and bliss and to moving yourself to that higher vibe life and uncovering how you can allow enjoyment and pleasure into your life to let go of negative patterns, blocks, limited beliefs, check out my book, Radical Self-Love on, well, I'll say the whole title, Radical Self-Love, Create a Vibrant Life Beyond Fear and Limitation. It's out on Amazon and it is an Audible format. To find out more about me and what I offer in support of my higher calling to ignite the light in others and the world, you can find me at elementalbalance.ca. Please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week, month, week, month. I was going to say year, but hopefully you'll be back again before then. Have a wonderful time exploring your pleasure and your enjoyment.